So many things happened yesterday, which we will talk about this morning. I'm Attorney Edwin Lacierda, and this is The Spokes. From the palace halls then to our group chats now, we will be giving you conversations that will make you recall, think, and assess, so that you could come up with your own personal opinion. So just to let you know, Secretary Mike Defensor will follow shortly. He's just caught in traffic. So Mike, pumunta ka na rito. So anyway, for our first noted by the spokes topic, Senator Bato de la Rosa skipped the first day of Senate session resumption amid reports of ICC arrest warrant. So this is something that we're more or less kind of expected because there's a pending ICC warrant of arrest, but no official statement explaining the absence of Senator Bato in yesterday's plenary session or scheduled committee hearings. So it's something that we'll be expecting Senator Bato de la Rosa to be able to explain to us. No? One of the goals of the mid-November rally is supposedly to stop Senator Bato's arrest. Senator Robin Hood Padilla, saying that if Bato is arrested, he should also be taken as well. I mean, from the anti-Duterte side, go ahead. From the pro-Duterte side, wag naman po. We will be missing another Senate asset naman. So, but Senator Lacson's advice is cooperate and face the issue directly. Submit a due process to clear your names. But, however, in the press briefing yesterday, he said, amusingly, may experience na ako magtago, pwede kong tulungan si Senator Bato magtago. But it was said jokingly, no? But however, it's really at stake here right now is Senator Bato's reputation, legacy, and Senate career. In defense of Senator Bato, Senate President's statement said, we cannot allow any senator arrested in Senate premises, but outside Senate premises, that's no longer our concern. But there's a constitutional provision on immunity from arrest of senators in the halls of Congress. So it's something that I think the Senate will eventually have to struggle, will have to deal with this at some future. And once the Senate or the warrant of arrest has been issued, we don't really know. We've heard categorically that there's been no warrant of arrest, but apparently Ombudsman Remulla mentioned that he has heard of it, he has not seen it, but so that's the premise of where Ombudsman Boying was very, very confident that a warrant of arrest is forthcoming. So, but that's really the problem right now. So we will see what will happen in the next few days or the next few months. So our next topic, noted by the spokes, would be former Congressman Saldico to join Senate Blue Ribbon hearing via Zoom. It's interesting if he'll be able to do that. I remember that, and also Senator Lacson mentioned that he will be invited, but to be invited and his testimony to be valid, the testimony must be given at the Philippine Embassy or Consulate to be considered valid, on the premise that our Philippine embassies, our Philippine consulates are considered Philippine territory. So that is the premise of the statement of Senator Ping Lacson. We shall see. This may set a precedent if Congressman Saldico participates virtually without being physically present, but not necessarily a first time, because during the Farmally scandal, when there's a COVID lockdown, everybody was allowed to testify by Zoom. So it's something that we will be looking forward to if hopefully Saldico can shed light to all this hulabaloo in this flood control scam, considering that he has been pointed by several people, several personalities as the mastermind for now. So it's something that we will be doing. And also, news broke out yesterday that former Senate President Juan Ponce is critically in ICU for pneumonia. We'll have the presence of former Senator Gringo Honasan, a very, very close ally of Juan Ponce when the spokes return after this short break. And the spokes is back. And together, finally, Secretary Mike Defensor is with us in the room.
Good morning, Secretary Edwin. Alam mo, grabe ang traffic ngayong umaga.
Ako rin na traffic.
After the storm. So I apologize, but anyway, we're here Secretary Lacierda, and of course, our guest for today.
It's none other than the head of security of Senator Juan Ponce Enrile from way back, former Senator Gringo Honasan.
Welcome to the Spokes, Senator Gringo.
Welcome.
Good morning, Sec Edwin.
So, when you graduated Batch 71, this is the famous or infamous Batch 71.
The notorious.
The notorious Batch 71. You had a lot of very famous personalities.
Yes, Senator Lacson.
Senator Lacson.
Governor Aglipay now of
Yes,
Cagayan
yes.
province.
Isabela.
The father of M. Aglipay.
Yes.
Tsaka
Father-in-law
ito
of
yung
Senator Mark.
Marshal batch of the Philippine Military Academy.
I thought you were the dreaded batch. Parang ganun nung nasa panahon ng martial law. Parang kayo nakakatakot na batch eh.
Kami yung kasabay ng first quarter storm.
Yes.
But for better or for worse, I joined the Alpha Sigma fraternity. Kaya brad kami.
In UP, prior to joining the Philippine Military
How many years were you in UP?
3 semesters.
So 3
tried to take
semesters.
up economics. I never got into the School of Economics. Sa AS lang ako na.
Okay.
Oo. So ito, Senator, yung kayo of course, first of all, we pray for
Yes.
Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, who's currently, okay, klaro lang ho natin kasi kahapon, iba-iba yung
May
issue.
lumabas na card.
May card, oo.
Galing sa isang dyaryo.
Sa isang dyaryo, na kumalat, tapos biglang yung iba naman, he's still alive. Tapos
Right,
ngayon,
right.
Sec, ano sabi mo?
Parang he's fighting.
Outside
I'm not sure
ICU,
that
so-
may nabalitaan naman.
Well, true to form yun, from my experience with him.
Have you gotten in touch or kinamusta niyo po
Yes,
recently?
of course, with the children.
So ano talaga situation ngayon, Senator Gringo?
As of late last night, sabi ko, balitaan nyo lang kami. No? Nasa ICU.
Nasa ICU.
Ang pagkaalam kasi namin, Sec Edwin, Sec Mike, he was practically begging to go back home. Sabi niya, ayokong, I don't wanna pass away in a hospital. So, even niyo ko. So, pabalik-balik.
Pero hindi naman sa he has been living for so long
Yes.
that everybody has, it's been made a nice joke
Siya
na
na-
lahat buhay pa, last line, ito namatay na to, ganito namatay, at buhay pa rin si Juan Ponce Enrile.
Oo, I've been getting that sa mga chat groups.
Sec Edwin, Sec Mike, minsan pinapatawag kami, former staff, ano balita? Kumustahan lang.
When was the last time po kayo nakita?
Siguro mga 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
3
ago?
weeks ago,
Oh.
yes.
With who else?
With former Major Bobby Santos.
Bobby Santos.
Mga staff niya, mga aide.
Oo. General Noe Wong, I
Noe
believe.
Wong, oo.
Oo.
Sabi
And kayo
namin-
po?
Saka kami. So, kumusta? Sabi,
Red Kapunan po, wala.
wala, si Red nasa Iloilo.
Iloilo.
Nasa Iloilo.
Yes, so,
Opo.
so sabi namin, sir, it would be interesting if you outlive the three of us. Tawa siya na. Tawa ng tawa.
Pero kasi na-trigger to nung speech ni Senator Jinggoy
Yes,
Na
yes.
he offered prayers, nag-huminto yung Senate. Saan yun ako yung information? I'm sure from Ma'am Katrina siguro yan.
I suppose siya. May direct contact naman siya sa pamilya, sa staff.
We'll continue praying for Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. But you're here, we're interested. You used to be with Scout Rangers, no? After you did,
I used to
you were
be
the member of the elite Scout Rangers.
Scout Rangers, Special Forces. I used to be commandant of the Special Operations School in
Okay.
Fort Magsaysay.
So this was from 71. When did you become
The aid of...
Senator Juan Ponce Enrile?
1975.
Oh, so you just 4 years
I
after
was called
graduation.
from Holo, where I was assigned, no?
Okay.
After the burning of Holo.
Yes, yes.
Sabi ko, nako, patay. Baka may nagawa akong kasalanan. So report ako, naka-t-shirt pa ako, haba ng buhok ko. Pasok ko. Alam niyo man,
Yes, yes.
first time in an air-conditioned office in Camp Aguinaldo. Sabi niya, Captain, are you willing to work with us? Sabi ko, sir, I follow orders. So sabi niya, sige, they shoot the orders.
Okay.
Sabi ko, can I have 1 month to clear my stuff? Because operations and training officer ako sa 1st Composite Infantry Battalion.
Okay.
Combination yun ng Rangers, Special Forces.
Yes.
Yung mga misfits.
Balito kasi ang Scout Rangers are very adventurous. very adventurous. They're always all the mga coup or mga kwentong meku. Parating binabantayan talaga ng military. I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the Scout Rangers
Scout Rangers, special units.
Special
They're
units,
more
yes.
mobile.
Oo.
They're more dispersed all over the
Saka
archipelago.
medyo palaban talaga.
Hindi naman. I mean, not to denigrate the
Others, yeah.
normal.
But I heard our Scout Rangers are so good that we can compete at par with the American Special Forces.
Nako,
And you train them, in fact, when there's a jungle training.
Sec Edwin, no? We are world-class as
Yes.
soldiers. We are also world-class, ironically, as peacekeepers.
Oh, you mean in the UN Peacekeeping Force? Those are Scout Rangers?
Si General Ekarma, Marine ito,
Yes.
I think class 82 or 81, no? He was going to retire
Okay.
as head of the UN Peacekeeping Force, no? Somewhere in the Middle East. They petitioned for his extension because he was doing such a good job that they wanted him extended.
I remember during our time, may ano talagang naipit ng mga peacekeeping. Yun, di ba?
Yes, so yung hindi umalis.
Naggalit ang UN, I remember naggalit ang UN Peacekeeping Force sa mga Pinoy. Kasi pinaglaban ng Pinoy yung that perimeter. Talagang medyo nagalit yung, ang balita, the officers of the UN Peacekeeping
Ang tawag
Forces.
doon insubordination. Diba?
Insubordination,
Ayaw umalis.
yes.
Nag-alisan yung ibang contingent. Hindi, pero scale it up a little, no? If you don't mind.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
We have 14 million Filipinos scattered in 200 countries all over the world.
Right.
60% of seafarers are Filipinos.
Right.
So sabi nila, pag tumigil magtrabaho ang Pilipino sa United Nations, sa Washington, diba, at sa karagatan, mag-i-slow down yung global economy.
Totoo
Yun ang potential natin. So, nakakapanghinaya.
Are they using the security forces sa mga tankers? Kasi inaano ng mga pirate, Somali pirates would go after them.
Oo, yung
Not-
mga Pinoy din ang palaban dyan. oo.
Not officially.
Not officially.
Not officially. Pero alam mo naman, yung US may blackwater operation sila. May plausible deniability para pag naipit ng konti, walang international or diplomatic repercussion.
In 84, ikaw yung bara ng class mo, di ba, sa PMA? Baron ka.
71.
Ay, sorry, 71. But in 75, kinuha ka ni Senator Enrile. From then on, and this is the perception, parang kang anak ni Senator Juan Ponce Enrile.
Lahat kaming na-assign sa kanya. Alam mo si JPE, mahirap mahalin yan eh. Abogado. Medyo may konting
Yes.
dating, no? It's not perfect, just like
Right.
all of us, no? But once you get to know him, you begin to understand the capacity of this...
The psyche.
Diba? Disciple of the law.
But yung relationship nyo talaga is like father and son.
Oo.
Ganun na talaga, di ba?
Halos, di ba, pag matutulog na, halos itakin mo. Ganun naman siguro tayo, no?
Senator Gringo, let me ask you some question. No? Yes. Because si JPE was considered the martial law administrator.
Tama. Oo.
And so, and your name has never been mentioned as one of those, for lack of a better term, nagbabiolate ng human rights ng mga tao. You were never identified with that. Kasi martial law yan eh. So, di ba, maraming sinasabing human rights abuses. But your name was never mentioned.
Well, that was what he imprinted in our psyche, no? Si JP.
Okay.
Kaya lang, we have to understand, no? He
Right.
wrote the martial law proclamation.
Right.
Di ba?
But as a person, hindi siya ganun.
Ay, hindi siya ganun. In fact, before 86, no? The leaders of the political opposition, some of them in exile, no?
Right.
Were communicating with him.
That's right.
Ganun siya ka-open.
May isang storya na narinig ako na from UP na mga aktivista rin.
Oo.
Tapos medyo close siya.
Ito, aktivista ka nga pala.
Hindi, ito mga 70s to. Ibang mga aktivista to, mga 60s, early 70s. Na si JP pa ang nagpabuhat at pinatakas niya, pinaalis niya. Just so na hindi pa huli.
Yes, I heard of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
may ganun stories eh. Well, is that true? Is that real?
Ganun siya ka-bukas. In fact, aid pa ako noon, we visited the detention center of former Senator Ninoy Aquino.
Okay. Sige, kwento niyo nga po yan.
Bonifacio.
Okay.
You know, nagulat kami dahil Bonifacio, kasama ako sa loob, no? You know that Senator Ninoy was sharing with him some current reading material, books, which implied to me that he had a better library in detention than JPE.
Ano kung nila, kwentuhan nila?
Alam mo na, malapit yung dalawa eh.
Batian.
Oo, batian. Hindi, pero ito na naman, no? Of course, JPE is identified with former President Marcos
Right,
also, no?
right.
Can you imagine, Sec Edwin, no? Sec Mike, no? Former President Marcos Sr. had 11 flagship programs. Petrochemical industry still. Former Senator Ninoy Aquino had the same vision. We examined it.
Oh.
Can you imagine, two personalities, very prominent, diametrically opposed, politically, sharing the same vision. Can you imagine from our experience, no? The puhunan, the political capital that we could have used to move things faster for this country.
So hindi talaga sa press, no, the perception was Senator Ninoy was against sila JPE kasi nga martial law administrator siya, pinakulong siya. So by and large, are you saying that Senator Juan Ponce treated Senator Ninoy pretty well?
Yes. Not only former Senator Ninoy, no, but other leaders of the opposition. Yung iba nga, mga brad niya.
I'm interested, Sen Greg, sila nag-usap ni Ninoy, how did they approach that? How did they discuss?
How did they discuss? Parang ganito tayo. Parang pause, tapos rewind.
Hindi nagdidebate, walang away.
Hindi, walang away.
In fact, when he was assassinated, when Senator Ninoy was assassinated, parang if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the few that who went immediately to the wake. Parang
We were the first doon sa Army Station Hospital.
Okay.
Oo. Nung ibalita sa amin, sa bahay niya, sa Morado, no? That Senator Ninoy was assassinated. I remember very, very distinctly, Sec Edwin, no? Alam mo, sabi niya, Sec Mike, stupid.
And I believe one of the things that I asked si President Pinoy, we were very, very curious. Sir, sino ba talagang pumatay kay sa father niyo? He never said it. But definitely it wasn't JPE.
Yes.
Pero he never said it, but hindi niya because also, remember when he assumed the presidency in 2010, we were looking for, syempre, first day of SONA na yan, di ba? Kailangan mag-elect ka ng SP, Senate President and Speaker. Sa baba, Speaker Belmonte was immediately elected. Sa Senate, we had a problem. Senator Kiko Pangilinan was not able to muster a majority.
Okay.
So we had to have someone there. And so somebody suggested to Pinoy na, we need a good Senate President. And ang suggestion was, let's get Juan Ponce and Enrile. But prior to that, medyo maganda na ang relasyon nila. During Senate pa, nasa Senate sila.
Oo,
They have a
tama.
good
Oo,
relationship.
nagkasama sila.
Nagkasama-sama kami.
Oo.
Di ba?
Tama. You were together. Oo.
And if warm po ang relation, parang hindi sila yung ganun ka, we thought as frosty, quite warm.
In fact, si President BBM, 3 years din kami magkasama. Alam mo, Sec Edwin, no? Sec Mike, wala kang maramdaman ng tension na napoproject, well,
In public.
In some media, no?
Yes.
Na, may tension. Hindi. So much political capital.
When Ninoy died, sabi ni Senator Enrile, sabi niya, stupid, galit siya, di ba? Then you went to the wake. Did you see President Cory that time?
No. Sa labas kami. Siyempre,
Okay.
pupunta ka, hindi namin alam kung ano maging reaction.
Reaction, yes.
So, may sumama. I think ito sa former Ambassador Wong, no? Ako sa labas, Chief Security, For obvious reasons, no?
Okay.
Pero
Tapos then, what triggered ito na yung papasok ng EDSA. Matagal pa to, no?
No, 83 yun.
83 to going to
83 was,
EDSA.
when did the disenchantment of Senator JP towards the Marcos, the McCoy administration, hindi nila alam yung term na McCoy. Ang tawag natin sa tatay, McCoy.
Well, sige, no? Sec Mike, no? Cumulative yan, Let's say, from my own personal, more intimate experience, no? The Reform the Armed Forces movement was born when in the field. No? In the field. Di siyempre katapat mo, rebelde, kriminal, tapos sundalo. Siyempre nagpapatayan, nagkakasakitan. What was unacceptable to us was when civilians, innocent civilians, lives, property, liberties curtailed, no? In a conflict they did not invent. Yung pala, may karamdaman na si President Marcos Sr. and very few knew.
And what year was that when you discovered that he had a terminal illness?
We did not discover it during
whole time.
the pre-86, no? Naramdaman lang namin na dati-dati, no, nung kalakasan ni President Marcos Sr., pag may utos galing sa Commander-in-Chief, no, we went for the mission without looking back. Noong mga panahon na yon, before the birth of the reform movement, sabi naman, bakit ganito yung utos? But we never questioned. We never looked back to check, baka masama
Ano
na.
sen yung personal moment nyo with Senator Enrile na nagsabi na siya na Greg, medyo delikado na to, masama na to.
Okay, kami ni Red, Kapunan. Red
Yes,
Kapunan. Nagjo-join na kami ng steering committee meetings ng RAM sa production branch ng intelligence sa Krame. Sina Big Batak naman yun. No? So sabi namin, baka pagalitan tayo. So punta kami kay JPE. Sir, alam mo naman kami, we have monitored a group that's meeting clandestinely. Ito yung manifesto nila. Reform. Reform, in fact, is an acronym for Restore Ethics, Fair-mindedness, Order, Righteousness, and Moral.
Dapat lang reform kasi
Hindi. So, in acronym yun. No? Tinignan niya yung manifesto. Sabi niya, nothing wrong with this. Why don't you join it? Sabi namin ni Red Chief.
So you're not a founding member?
Ay, hindi. Informal yun eh. Yung mga...
okay.
Yung mga...
Kwentuhan,
hindi,
mga usapan.
Ang sikreto kasi namin, no, is they don't know who we are, how many we are, and where we are. Pero yung mga lantad, steering committee, ayun, yung mga patapon na.
Oo, laban na.
Parang ikaw ngayon, segment. Hindi so, sorry, I could not resist. Hindi mo patapon, pero you're
open.
Center of resort. Edwin was before in that position. No?
Oo.
So sabi, why don't you join it? Member na kami ng steering
So
committee.
nakita niyo yung members, sabi niya, sino kasama?
Hindi, walang member, walang listahan ng member. Basta't manifesto lang. Restore electoral reforms, etc., etc.
Pero was that manifesto revealed to the administration?
I think with the intelligence community, very active
Right.
during the time. Diba? Noon, uso na rin yung witch hunt,
Yes.
turuan, laglagan. No? Hindi, open yun. Open.
Senator Gringo, I must go back to the response that you made a while ago, that you observe a lot of when the civilians are being harmed. But wasn't that clear to you as a member of the government and the armed forces that there were already human rights abuses going on?
Yes, definitely. Secretary,
And so
we have to admit that.
Yes. So but at what point did you say na this has gone too far?
At what point?
Yes.
First-hand experience.
Oh.
Hindi kami yung namamaril ng civilian. Ha?
Correct.
We were not the ones making mistakes.
If I'm not mistaken, the one enforcers of the martial law, human rights abuses, were identified as the PC. Yung PC, ang mga PC. Sila Governor Aguinaldo is very notorious for that.
Yes. And a
He's
lot
your
of-
batch, right?
No.
No,
He
it's not
was
your
one batch after me. Kabatch
Si
ni
Senator
Bobby
Ping
Santos.
ang
Si Senator Ping ang ano.
nandun na kasama kabatch nila.
Kabatch namin.
Oo.
Oo.
So, but
71.
that's really where this human rights abuses were really rampant. And Malaya came out and really the Mosquito Press came out to report all these human rights abuses.
Sek Edwin, totoo naman yan. Pero wala namang administrasyon na spared from this, di ba? Yung quality and quantity, di ba? Kaya lang cumulative, napabayaan.
Hindi kasi dito, unlike after EDSA, there was really suppression of our civil and political rights.
Yes, yes.
That's why it was so easy for McCoy to really just abuse.
Di ba? You give the power to an organization that is not prepared, di ba? To do these things. You expect abuses in every administration.
You said nung when Enrile drafted the martial law declaration, you were already there.
No.
Wala pa.
Wala pa.
Nasa Sierra Madre ako noon dahil after the Digoyo incident, the landing of the
Yes. Yung mga
firearms,
baril,
no?
no?
Right.
Kami yung pinadala sa Sierra Madre with one special forces team to interdict.
Was there ever a moment that si Senator Enrile justified to you martial law or meron na kayong meeting of minds na talagang kailangan gawin to? Kailangan mangyari to?
That was beyond above my salary grade.
But you were 1971 batch
71,
graduate. So, nung pag-shift to martial law, anong naging reaction ninyo?
Nandun ako sa Sierra Madre noon. Yung radyo, yung transistor radio, inaakyat ko yung alambre para may antena kami. Nung dineclare yung martial law, Sec Edwin, no? Sec Mike, nagpuntahan sa akin yung mga mayor. Sabi niya, Captain, ano gagawin namin? Ganun ang dating ng martial law.
From that time, noong 75, naging aide kayo, was there ever a time, as a father na, iba na yung relasyon ninyo, was there ever a time that you saw weakness in him or may time bang pinagalitan kayo?
Lagi ko yung pinapagalitan.
Okay.
Minsan nga, nagpunta kami sa okasyon, di ba? Dahil nagkamali kami ng sulat sa kalendar. Dinat na namin yung mga upuan na nakasalansan.
Okay.
Yeah, di siyempre nakabarong na sa ready to deliver speech. Kami yung, siyempre, pero hindi yung pagalit na na personal.
Paano siya magalit?
Paano siya magalit? It's anything I don't like. It's people who do not think.
Nangahagis mo ba na?
Hindi. Walang...
Hindi siya naninigaw, hindi siya nagagalit.
Hindi. Minsan nga, ito lighter note. No? So nasa kotse kami, may tumabi. Anong kotse niya, di ba? Wala pang mga tinton. May mga dalaga. Di ba? Tinuturo yung kotse. Di ba? Akala namin, siya. Akala niya siya. Di ba? Tapos hindi pala siya ang yung aide sa harap. Sabi niya, ikaw pala.
So let's go to the,
Yeah.
I'm very interested on the origins of the EDSA 1 revolution. How did you, at what point did you plan to say, ito na, let's move?
Ganito kasi, di ba?
At that point, how many were you pala?
Ayun nga. We could account for about 5,000
Really?
officers
Okay.
in a 15,000 officer corps.
Wow, one-third.
One-third. Pero alam niyo naman, di ba, sa history, statistically, only 10 to 15% will fight or stand up for or against.
Right.
The others will be fence-sitters. Naghintay kung sino yung panalo, tapos dun sila.
I see.
Yung
The
Yamadista.
usual, Yamadista.
Yamadista. So, at that point, 4 days. Saan naman tayo nakakita ng 4 days? Yung pag-detect, we had air, we had naval components. Even the Marines, di ba, may standoff. They could not, run over
I-follow up
civilians.
ko lang yung tanong ni Sec Edwin. Ano yung parang trigger nyo ni Senator Enrile na, ka na, Gringo, go na tayo.
The original plan, mabuti na itanongin niyo, was to attack Malacanang.
Yes.
Pumayag
Okay.
siya doon.
Ha?
Pumayag si Senator Enrile.
Kinumpartment namin siya dahil pag nagkaipitan, meron kami ituturo. Mabuti yung hindi niya alam yung plano. Okay, so assault Malacanang. Not to harm the first family, Marcos Sr., no? But to get there ahead and protect them from the mob.
Oh.
Yun napansin niyo yung made in Malacanang.
Meaning, Senator, si Sec Enrile, wala na siyang alam? Pero alam niya may attack.
Hindi.
As to the combat plan, hindi niya alam.
Hindi niya alam.
Pero alam niya, atake na to.
Oo.
Nag-go siya doon.
Di ba
But I remember parang Senator Gringo na your plan was foiled. It was discovered.
Yes.
That's why you have to move ahead.
Yes, paano yung mga na-recruit namin galing sa loob, yung prinisinta sa press con,
Yes, oo.
nakonsensya. And we could not blame them. Mga escort officer ito ng First Family.
First family.
So PSG to.
PSG. Pero mga PME graduates, no?
Right,
I will
right.
not mention their names.
Right,
no?
right.
So nakonsensya, kunyan, par for the course yan.
Right.
Di ba? So what we did was, sabi namin, sir, nabuko na yung plano. So plan B.
Okay.
Plan B. Okay, ano ang plan B? Tawag siya kay Juan.
Babi Ongpin.
Hindi ba? Kay Bobby Ongpin, yung mga security, inaresto sa Marines. But cumulative na naman yan.
Okay.
Kasama sa mga factors. No? Tinawagan niya si FBR.
Okay.
So solely Enrile and Ramboys lang yung initial?
Muna.
Okay.
Yan.
So si President Ramos wasn't part of the planning.
Well, I'm not implying this, no? Sec Edwin. No? Nilapitan namin yung ang daming senior officers namin, including FBR and some others, no? We're asking them, parang si William Wallace, Braveheart, sabi niya kay Robert Bruce, lead us, unite us. Yung mga nilapitan namin na may mga tropa, may katungkulan.
May capability.
Iwas pusoy. For all intents and purposes, that's a kudeta, etc., etc. Di ba? So, yung center of gravity ng leadership ng RAM, bumaba ng bomba. Tumigil sa akin.
At the time, can you refresh to us? What was your rank then? Captain?
Colonel.
Colonel
Yes,
na
they
pala.
promoted me to full colonel.
Okay.
On the opposite side, dahil may mga pinopromote sila, pina-fast track.
When you say opposite side, si Ver.
Ayan.
Si Colonel Ver. Who is your also batchmate?
No, one batch.
At sa hindi siya PMA. Hindi PMA si...
PMA. Si
The
Ruiz.
son.
Si Sir Yun. Yeah.
So parang ikinonte si Senator Gringo with the son.
Parang itinapat. So, binaba. Alam mo sabihin kong, di ba? 3 choices in life, di ba? Fight, di ba? Flee, or watch.
Pero Senator Gringo, ang alam ko, si Fabian Ver ang mas puwersa, yung mga vanguards, yung UP vanguards ang maano eh.
Oo.
Sir Edwin, at that point in time, blurred na eh. Wala nang vanguard doon. Basta reform the armed forces movement. No?
Correct.
So, in that situation, tinawagan niyo si FBR, go na kayo, punta kayo ng...
Okay. Sabi na...
Teka pala, talo na kayo, supposedly.
Hindi naman.
Hindi.
Na burn out. Nasunog na
Nasunog
plano.
yung Malacanang. Okay.
So, sakay kami. Di ba? Sa convoy. Papunta kami sa Campo Aguinaldo.
Yes.
So, ang choices is wage a protracted guerrilla war in the countryside.
Okay.
Option yun, no?
Okay.
Tapos, hold out somewhere. Ang recommendation nun, Bonifacio.
With Ramos already.
Si FBR dumating 6:30. Tinawagan ni JPE 2:30.
Okay.
Siguro may mga inaayos pa siya. Doon sa Alabang siya nakatira.
So you mentioned the holdout should be on Bonifacio, but okay.
Yun ang choices. Okay.
Okay.
No? So sabi namin, saan? So sabi namin, we agreed, consensus, na sa Aguinaldo where our command and control communications facilities were. Tapos dating si FBR 6:30. Good evening, press con sila. Yan.
So let me just pause for a while and ask you this. No? When Fidel Ramos became president in 1992, he granted you amnesty. Was JP instrumental in your decision to run for a Senate position in the 1995 election? But before you answer that, Senator Gringo, the spokes will return after the short break. The spokes is back, still with Senator Gringo Honasan. So, Senator Gringo Honasan, what was when you decided to run, when you were pardoned, amnestied, and you decided to run for Senate?
Okay.
Was JP instrumental in that decision?
Hindi, not JP. Remember the late Heidi Yorak? Okay. Oo. Pinadala ni FBR. Hanapin ako. Si Red, no, nag-surface na.
Okay.
Trinayal ko. Ginawa ni Ma'am Heidi na executive assistant niya. Alam na, si Red.
Si Red.
Si Red.
She was in Commission of Human Rights.
Yes. No, National Unification Commission.
Okay.
Okay. Inutusan ni FBR si Heidi, hanapin mo si Unasan, no? Isama mo si Red. So hanap, no? Kita kami ni Heidi, one safe house. No? Sabi niya, Colonel, I'm glad to meet you. One message from FBR, no? Sabi ni FBR, you have to stop unsuccessfully trying to overthrow the government.
And that he will give you amnesty.
Walang kondisyon.
Teka, rewind ako ng konti, Sen, balik ako sa EDSA Revolution. What was the scariest moment between you and Senator Enrile
Sa EDSA,
sa EDSA?
pagtawid namin, Sunday, sabi namin, di ba si FBR, pagkatapos ng press con, nagpaalam siya kay JPE. Lipat na kami sa Krame, where my command and communications facilities are. So Sunday, Saturday is 22, 23, sabi namin kay JPE, sir, lipat na tayo kay FBR para centralized kayong dalawa.
Mas madali.
Pero when was that? Saturday?
Saturday is 22,
Yes.
Sunday is 23.
When did you move to Krame?
23.
23.
But the call to, by the way, the call to Cardinal Sin was not planned at all.
Hindi.
Urging the people to come to the streets.
It was deliberate. Buti nabanggit mo si Edwin si Cardinal. Punta kami kay Cardinal Sin sa San Miguel.
San Miguel.
Villa San Miguel sa may Show
Pasig,
Boulevard.
sa show.
Yes.
Oo.
Yung steering committee, ako, si Vic Batak yata, no? Sabi namin, Your Eminence, we have this plan, a military operation to assault. May mga seminarista ron sa paligid. Di ba? Sabi niya, no, that's going to be violent, bloodshed, that's morally unacceptable. Nagpaalam yung mga seminarista, Your Eminence, alis na ho kami. Sabi namin, sabay na ho kami. Sabi niya, no, stay behind. Yung steering committee. Nung umalis niya yung seminarista, sabi niya, group hug. Sabi niya, don't make it too violent. Alam niyo si Cardinal Sin, di ba? Medyo pilyo ng konti.
So you were saying na nung pagtawid po ninyo, si Enrile takot din.
Hindi. You were asking saan kami...
Ano yung scariest part sa inyo, sa kanya?
Pagtawid namin. Di ba
Enrile was also worried and scared about it.
I was worried because I was security.
What about him?
I could see also the tension in his face.
Okay.
Pagtawid namin, hindi namin alam, baka kuyugin kami ron. Di ba? Ang tawag sa military ron. Mga tuta, mga etc. Pagtawid namin, iyakan, palakpakan, yakapan. I was very worried and scared. Pero nung ganun ang reaction, sabi ko sa sarili ko, sa Edwin, no? Panalo tayo rito.
Correct.
Di ba? Again, Maximus, win the hearts, win the crowd.
And that's why the term EDSA was very, very, talagang may meaning eh. Kasi
May meaning, yeah.
Epifanio de los Santos means Epiphany of the Saints.
Yes.
So all the saints gathered in EDSA and really it was really a show of strength.
Tsaka state of the art tayo nun. Sa ibang bansa, pag siyang revolusyon, bloodbath, catharsis,
Yes.
Tiananmen Square, mga ganong...
Tayo ang naging model ng
Yes.
ano.
Let's apply that experience together with the 1989 coup attempts, failed coup attempts, to the present situation. What are your views right now in the current political situation that you're seeing?
The issues are not yet joined, Sec. Edwin. No? I mean, unang-una, ang daming call. September 21. Just a commentary, no? From where I sit, I'm not, no? So, may Luneta, may People Power Monument, may EDSA Shrine. Iba-iba ang panawagan. That's one. Second, hindi lang sino ang ilalagay, kundi ano. Kailangan mabilis. In 86, rewind tayo ng konti, di ba? So there was President Marcos, had the health issues. President Cory, no, was an alternative. Nag-snap election pa.
Right.
So, very safe na option. Pag nagkamali ka ng binoto mo, you will not die. Di ba? Your candidate will lose, but you will not die. Pero pag pumunta ka na sa kalsada, there's that risk.
Curious lang ako, Senator, you had the lunch with Secretary Enrile, with the generals 2 weeks ago. Diba?
Mga two
weeks ago. Ano ho yung message niya or yung view niya about the current situation? We may not be able to hear it anymore dahil nasa ospital na siya. Ano po yung nabanggit niya tungkol dito
Si
sa
JPE kasi hindi yan adelantado ba ang tawag doon? He does not volunteer advice unless he's asked.
Right.
And to think that his chief presidential legal counsel and special concerns.
Right.
That's what I gather. He can intervene in any department.
Pero sa inyo po, ano yung binanggit niya na gringo, masama or whatever?
The situation, there's institutional damage, there's systems breakdown. And it cannot be solved by the things that we have been doing politically, economically, and even in terms of national security. We're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yan po binanggit niya sa inyo?
Yan ang consensus. Pag nag-uusap kasi kami, wala.
And so the same way, that nung in 86, when it happened, tuloy-tuloy yung problema, nothing changed because we need to...
Yes. In fact, Secretary, 86, revolutionary government, freedom constitution.
Right.
What was one of the first things we did without repairing the electoral process? We conducted elections.
Have you ever asked him, Senator...
Sorry, you
Oh,
conduct
sige,
what?
go ahead.
Elections.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Nag-election tayo.
Sorry, Sec.
No,
Mike.
yung ano ko lang is, was there ever an instance na in-advise na si BBM in the current situation that he told you?
I would not know that.
Okay.
Sa kanya sabi niya, unless I'm asked. Yun parang unwritten code of conduct, code of ethics niya. Pag hindi siya tinanong, hindi siya nag-interfere, hindi siya
Pero alam mo, Sec Edwin, of all the secretaries, siya lang ang katabi ng opisina ni Presidente sa ngayon.
Oh.
Talaga?
And the
Nasa palasyo siya?
Oo. And the
Sabi niya-
President, di ba?
Hindi, sabi niya, Sec. Edwin, my office is 12 steps away. But there's a reason for that. They rehabilitated, I understand, the elevator from the first floor to the second floor
yes.
for him.
Oo. For him.
Yeah,
Just
for him. Hindi ba, si Presidente, nasa kanan si Chief Justice, Bersamin. Di ba? Nasa kaliwa siya.
Yes.
Oh, can you imagine the...
Mas mabigat ang always the view of us, JP's. Because his institutional memory, memory is so expansive.
May governance, may
Yes,
legislative
yes.
experience, political experience.
But what you mentioned, the issues have not been joined. What do you mean by the issues have not been joined? And if they are joined, what happens?
Wala ang... hindi pare-pareho ang panahon. May resign everybody, may transition government, may revolutionary council, may resign all.
Okay, so given that the fact that those issues have not been joined, so let's say there's a group that advocates withdrawal support, there's a group that advocates revolutionary government. How do you see of the chances of these things happening without the issues being joined?
Sec. Edwin, Sec. Mike, what's the missing component?
Military?
Military. Kaya lang, ingat tayo dyan. From my view, from
Right.
my own limited experience, the military, by the way, the armed services, the legally authorized armed group is the fulcrum.
Right.
That allows the equilibrium. Any perception, I'm not talking of fact, perception, that it is taking sides. Let's say you split it down the middle, minimum natin civil war.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? Ngayon, kung withdrawal of support, gulo pa rin.
Pero that's the safest because it already happened in 2001 with GMA, the withdrawal support by General Angie Reyes.
Pero from my view
Yes.
noon, Edwin, no? Wala namang troop movement noon.
Actually, technically, pati 86 eh. Di ba, nag-withdraw, nagbaliktaran
Pero
sila.
doon talaga nag-ano yung mga puwersa eh.
Hindi, pero
Nabasan eh.
Medyo may konting
the
ano.
Air Force,
Yes.
di ba? May
Si Tadyan, ng Marines.
Yes,
Yan,
yes,
di ba? Nag-isip eh.
Sen, you've been with them for 50 years, more than 50 years?
Half of my life.
Half of your life.
Oo.
Kung buhay ngayon si Senator, I'm sorry. Sorry. If there was a message that he would relate to the Filipino people, ano yung tingin mong sasabihin niya?
Yung lagi nating pinag-uusapan, but using different vocabulary, di ba? One flag, one nation, motherhood ito, no? One people, dreaming hard, di ba? Praying hard, working hard for unity. We have to do this together. Hindi to kaya ng gobyerno.
If you were currently a senator right now,
Yes.
and you've experienced both sides being a rebel and being in government, which do you think, at the present observation of the political situation, saan po kayo mas komportable na naniniwala na tama bang ginagawa ni BBM? Pangalawa, tama rin bang ginagawa ng mga anti-BBM na nagdidemand ng pagbabago, pag-resign? Ano po ang ano nyo, pananaw
Edwin,
nyo?
hindi ito safe answer, no? I'm not doing this
Correct.
for the camera.
I'm not here for you to give me a
Yeah,
safe answer.
Hindi, kaya nga tinawag na spokes, di ba?
Yeah.
But when you become president, I think God gives you extra lights. You have more access to information.
Right.
Example, we proposed even during the campaign period na mag-usap-usap yung mga buhay na presidente. The newly elected president, yung mga buhay, kahit na medyo naghahang na yung iba, no? They call that in another democracy, the Council of State. Correct? Di ba? Yan. Every time they meet, tabi muna yung partisan politics, no cameras.
Right.
And then they come out of the Oval Office and say, this is what we will do. I don't know if it's happening now.
I remember during the time of President Duterte, there was one meeting ng Council of State because Pinoy was there, GMA was there.
I saw that.
I remember that only one instance.
Alam mo kung naalala ko yun, hindi kinamalayan ni Pinoy si Jerry.
Pati ron, di ba? May
Naalala ko
body
yun,
language na parang, di ba? So, why can that not happen again? Bakit?
Sen, you told me a story. Sabi mo, di ba of course, Senator Enrile with President Ramos yung nag-lead to topple then the Marcos administration. Pero there was one discussion you had, sabi niya sa'yo, no, at my age, gusto ko nalang makita makatapos si BBM. You were telling me that story one time.
Oh, but maybe he was doing it for us, no? Para hindi na kami mapunta kung saan-saan na naman, di ba? Because we have a history of these things, eh.
Right.
Diba?
Oh, by the way, interesting question. Sabi kasi ni Senator Gringo, we've experienced in this. Pero malapit ba sa inyo ngayon para humingi ng pointers?
Hindi, marami.
Talaga?
Oh, hindi. I'm not, no? Hindi naman. Pero, siyempre, iwas.
Madadagdag ka na sa listahan.
Yun na. Ang nasa order of battle, si Secretary Mike, mataas na siya sa akin eh. Ngayon baka. Hindi. Sabi ko, mag-ingat kayo. Dahil your mandate, your duty is to obey. Kaya lang ito naman ang caveat dyan, no? Yung mga sundalo kasi may mga pamilya yan eh.
Correct.
Sen, balik ko lang, sabi mo, sinasabi sa inyo ni Enrile yun, para huwag kayo maligaw. So that message was for you. I want to see him finish.
Yes.
And telling you, Kapunan, Noe, wala pa si Noe, no? Na huwag kayong mawala.
Huwag kayong maligaw. Dahil the consequences may not be manageable.
At the present, given your experience, what would justify you to decide to do what you did in, for instance, and so on, or in 1989? What are the circumstances? Yes.
No.
This is all theoretical.
Yes,
Tabletop.
When the people decide. Pag yun sa kalsada, join yung issues, may malinaw na alternative. At ang kulang lang na ingredient, yung kasundaluhan, that would be an interesting combination. And we hope it will not happen.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Ang tanong ko lang is, si Secretary Enrile ba, umabot sa punto niya na as Chief Legal Advisor, pagka nagkagulo-gulo, ima-martial law ko ulit to.
Hindi niya sinasabi sa amin yun.
Okay.
That's between him and his boss.
Yes.
Diba?
But he will be the one who would have that capability.
He would have an input to that.
Yes.
Because, di ba, sa akin, from my own narrow point of view, the problems of this country are economic in nature. Di ba? Any issue, name any issue, Sec. Mike, which you must relate to food, clothing, shelter, health, education, and now the new gold, the new oil, access to data, information that will allow our people in a personal capacity and another capacity to decide logically and rationally, life and death situation. Kung nakabalik ako sa Senado, then it's a collegial body.
Right.
You vote with the winning majority. People will suffer. Some people may die. You will not know about it. So sabi sa akin yan ni former Senator Raul Roco.
My boss.
Your boss.
By the way, my first job as a lawyer, I was an underbar. My first job, kasi I was hired by Congressman Raul Roco, sila Kapunan, Lorna, na my first job, December 9, after the coup, noong 1989. Ang una kong trabaho, research on the Emergency Powers Act that I'm proposing to give to President Cory Aquino. Yan una kong trabaho kay
When he was still congressman.
When he was still a congressman at the time.
The late Senator Raul Roco, who could have been the first Bicolano president.
Right.
Sabi sa akin, Greg, hindi tayo binoto ng tao rito because I'm a lawyer, a former soldier, no? Binoto tayo rito para bumoto. Di ba?
Correct.
Para bumoto. So mag-aral tayo. Mag-aral tayo. Dahil pag bumoto tayo kasama ng majority at nanalo, may mahihirapan. Di ba? May giginhawa. May mamamatay, may mabubuhay.
Last question, Senator Gringo, as a father, as a mentor, ano yung mamimiss mo? Nothing about the work, nothing about being senators. On a personal note, with Senator Enrile and how he was to you.
What did we learn from him? You cannot give what you do not have. Harmony in our families, cooperation in our communities, order in the state, inclusive growth for the nation, and security in our shores. If we can deal with our problems domestically, we can deal with any problem abroad. I'm asked, do you have an army? Does the Philippines have an army to confront any external threat? I said, no. The Philippines doesn't have an army because the Philippines is an army. Asymmetric
Fighting
warfare.
words.
We have 300 years of experience in asymmetric warfare.
Wow, fighting words. I've never heard that from...
Kung malagay ka sa listan, si Secretary, may kasalanan.
Yun nga. Don't worry, Secretary.
Thank you, Senator Gringo. It was a very wonderful discussion. So,
This wraps up today's episode of The Spokes. For now, don't settle for just one side of the story.
because every issue has two perspectives and the truth may be somewhere in between.
I'm Mike Defensor.
And I'm Attorney Edwin Lacierda, and this is
The Spokes.